Hello, this is David Dean, and we are getting ready to do a complete walkthrough of my Stonewood Storm Shield Defense base. And we have just completed Storm Shield Defense 9. We're getting ready to do 10. There is no new amplifier. We use the same ones we had from before. But we're going to do a walkthrough, just going through each of them one at a time. Right now, start with the home base. The home base is just basically a box with metal plating, and we've reduced it from the beginning. Once we got amplifier A and amplifier B up, all we had left was attacks from the east, and I'm gonna go through that tunnel first. And basically for this, you always want to build in line with that shiny blue ray right there, because that's the path the mobs are going to take. So since they're coming in from the east and there's a rock upcropping right here, I basically do a wishbone design around the rock so they have two different tunnels they can come in through. And before I go any further, I also want to bring up there's two other guys who do videos on soloing all these Storm Shield defenses. One is A1 Get This Money. He does it where there's no interaction at all from the hero on most of his, where he doesn't use gadgets, he doesn't shoot, he just basically, he will do healing of the buildings, and that's it. But he doesn't even put down his base for most of them from what I've seen. And he does a little bit different building with building more kind of bunker style where the mobs have to beat through certain areas. And then there's Dash Brandon. He does tunnels. He halfway between tunnels and bunker builds, but he interacts a lot. He's in there with the RPGs and shooting up. And I highly recommend you go check their videos out also, because you just have to find the build that's right for your style. And they do great, amazing videos with their own style with the way they're built. But now we'll get on with the way I do it. Like I said, everything's going to be coming up from way down here. I could make this tunnel a lot longer. Most of this is from Storm Shield Defense 2 or 3. Basically had the exact same thing set up. Haven't changed it except for just making the most of the walls and ceilings and floors 3-tier. But yeah, just basic simple design here. Blocking off where I don't want them to go with a wall with stairs behind it. And since I know they want to go over here to this beam, I know they're not going to, or hopefully they won't be pounding on that wall much, and they haven't. So they come in here. I used to have a ceiling electric field here that would take out all the mobs around, doing minor damage. Right now for traps, and I better get into that too also. I don't have much for traps. I'm doing this, I've already been through the entire mission on another account where I did spend money on it. I did have the deluxe edition, and I had a bunch of really great cool traps early on. This one I'm doing no spending money on at all. And yeah, a lot more interesting because I got a bunch of kind of crappy traps. I do have a legendary floor launcher, which I don't use that much right now, but will be used more in higher levels. I never use a healing pad. I got a wall launcher. That is my #1 tool. You'll see in the missions repeatedly. Got wall darts, and then we moved down to my level 5 traps, which I have not had the experience to level up yet. I only have one ceiling trap. That's the gas trap. And I love the gas trap. It's great, but it uses up a ton of resources. I keep running out of herbs and bacon. So, and then I have retractable floor spikes. Finally got the dynamos, so putting those in a lot of places, and then the wooden floor spikes. One thing good about the wooden floor spikes, from what I can see, it matters what level they are for how much damage they're doing, but not for the slowing down part. They slow down enemies by roughly 30%. And it doesn't seem to make a difference whether I put down a level 5 or a level 130. And that's the main reason I use the wooden floor spikes, is for slowing down mobs. But getting into it, I like to a lot have my tunnel sticking out one wall out in front of it, so the whole time mobs are walking in, they're getting hit in the back by wall darts. Gas traps right at the beginning. Usually I don't have the zappers up front. These are just ones I found in the game, and I just slapped them up basically to get them out of my inventory. But usually I have gas traps up front, same with the ceiling electric field to clear out all the smaller husks. And then in the back I'll have the zappers if I had a schematic to make zappers. But in the entrance I got a wall launcher with a small wall, so everything gets funneled right in here, and most of them get launched back and just keep getting hit by wall darts there, and wall darts there. And then usually in a one tile area like this, I don't have a launcher, but I didn't have any traps in the beginning, so that's what I put up. And then dynamo, and then once again getting into wall darts here. I think this is the furthest any mob has ever made it to this point, and they got taken out the second they did. This other tunnel, really basic, have hardly any traps in it. It seems like most of the time, as long as I don't come over here to check this tunnel, hardly anything comes in the tunnel. If I run over here, then suddenly all the mobs start coming this way. So I try to stay more towards the center. But that just leads up to, I always put a 45 at the end, and that is for smasher. If a smasher ever got in here and got within, I think it's 3 tiles of the wall, and he saw a flat wall, he'll charge it. And fortunately right now my metal with my base on it is good enough to stop a smasher 2 or 3 times with the charge, but later on that won't be the case. No matter how much you build it up, if they charge it, they're going to go through. So it's a good practice now to get into the 45 with a launcher on the ground. And if I had more mobs coming in here, I would put dynamos all the way through here, and I'll do that if I need to in the mission. But now we'll head over, and I'll do these amplifiers in the order I put them down. So we'll head over to the west to Amplifier A. The amplifier build, I just build around the absolute minimum amount of floor area I have to, which is a 3x3 cross, and build it up 2 levels. And that is so I have more rooms for my trap tunnels. A lot of times these amplifiers are really close to the storm shield, and you don't have room to build them out the first time you use them. So I just do that. And then this basically hat up here I do so for mobility to get up and around, and also to protect from lobbers. If you watch Storm Shield Defense number 9, we had a fail on one of the areas, and we had a bunch of lobbers come in, and these panels managed to stop them from doing any damage to the amplifier. So, but we'll go ahead and we will start from the west. Once again, we got a rock upcropping here. It's 3 tiles wide. And all of this is because I got a bunch of lobbers that came in and started throwing at my trap tunnels, so I just threw up a hasty ceiling in the middle of combat, and it stopped the lobbers from doing their attacks. They walked into the tunnels and got eaten up. But basically, the spawn point is right here. And I had built this out. It did take out the floor and a wall, but still not too bad. So as soon as they're spawning, they're coming in here and they're getting hit. And I did get, we'll put this 35 up there. And then those 2. So now as they're coming in, and originally I didn't even have this section of trap tunnel here because I didn't have room with the storm shield. The trap tunnels didn't start until way up here. But once the storm shield goes up, there's no reason not to expand your trap tunnels, because the mobs will keep getting harder and harder. And basically, on this spawn point, they're going to go up at 3 different places. They're going to go up the middle. There's a side ramp here they'll go up. And then there's another side over here they'll go up. And my whole build concept is to give them nice, easy, clear paths for them to walk straight to the amplifier like they want to, and just tear them up with traps as they try to do that walk. The more you put up things for them to bash down, the more strange things they end up doing. Putting up things for them to bash through, walls, half walls, whatever, that works pretty good at lower levels, but at higher levels they can go through that pretty fast, and mainly when you get those smasher propane waves, they can just take out anything you got. So I'd much rather have it where my traps are just eating up all those, and you see in my videos, even for Stonewood, a lot of the tunnels will be, propane tanks will be laying all over them because the traps just take them out. Hope I have enough gas traps, but in here, just come in. I got a timeout room over here, I call it. So you got a launcher, floor spikes slow down anything walking across here. They get launched back and they're just eaten up by traps. And then they try to get out, they get launched back again. And most of them end up dying in these little rooms. If they're fortunate enough to get up to here, launcher sends them back down. Once again, getting wall darts in the back as they're walking forward. And these that come up the middle, I got wall darts, and actually I made more wall darts just for this. So anything coming up here is getting hit. They come down the tunnel, traps all over, and it used to be I had a wall there. And the thing is, different mobs have different pathing. Yeah, every mob that came in here came in, went over, and went to this amplifier wall right here, except for the Smasher. The Smasher decided he did not want to walk over here. He wanted to go through my wall and just kept beating on it. Well, instead of arguing with him and keep putting that wall up there and reinforcing it, no, just open up the wall, make another trap tunnel specifically for that Smasher, and let him walk through here. Just make sure he pays a heavy price for every step he takes. And once again, I have the 45 at the end, stopping him from charging, and I got the launcher, so when he's beating on that, he's getting kicked back, and he has to keep walking back and forth to get over there. And then all the other mobs, even with this wall down, the other mobs still walk around this way to here. They get kicked out. This launcher sends them down that tunnel. This is another tunnel that hardly ever gets used. It does get used, but by maybe 5 or 6% of the mobs. And it seems to take them out with no issue. That is Amplifier A, the west side. The south side, I kind of had the same thing where I had a wishbone build. And the spawn point was right down there, but as soon as I put up that amplifier, the spawn point went away, and this one never saw any action after maybe Storm Shield 4 or 5. So, and I haven't destroyed it because you will get mobs that go out wandering around, the lobbers, the blasters, and by leaving this in place, it just cuts down where those other mobs can go wandering. But we're going to head on over to Storm Shield B, or Amplifier B. Once again, the same build on the amplifier. It is quite a bit of metal cost, but it works really good. And in case anything goes wrong, anything gets around in the back here, I put up the launchers. It uses up a little bit of resources, but if anything goes wrong, that's enough defense until I can get over and help out. And so we shall hit this. Let's start on this side because we actually used all of this last time. Up above, you can't see it here, but there's a rock upcropping 4 tiles wide. So, and I'll actually go out front to show you. Right back here, there is a rock upcropping. And since it's 4 tiles wide and it has a ramp over here, I can't do the wishbone all the way around it. Because normally Husk will go 3 tiles around something. If it's 4 tiles, they'll smash it out. So they end up coming up here, and it did work as planned. Once again, wall darts in the back. Just had a few traps up here with floor spikes. And then they dropped right down into the pit, and then they got eaten up by those traps down there. So I was glad that one finally got tested and worked great. This has been strange over here. If you watch my videos, the amplifier is down right over there. But for some reason, Husk keep trying to beat out the wall I had right here and the wall I had here, instead of just walking around them to go down the amplifier. So once again, not arguing with them. If they want to go and go through that area, I am simply opening it up for them. They can come in here, and I took down the 2 walls and put a launcher here, wall darts here. Let's see, do we need more gas traps? Probably not. Just want to make sure I got enough for anything that pops up during the mission. But yeah, so mobs now can come in. They're getting hit by wall darts, launchers. I'd really rather have like a dynamo here, but didn't have dynamos at that time. So hopefully they'll all head down right here and be taken out with the dynamos. Launcher with a 45 here at the end with dynamos on both sides. And this one also had the problem. Up here, I didn't have this 3rd wall, and they were coming around down there. I put up the wall, it greatly reduced it, but for one mission, and then the mission after that, the spawn point moved over a little further again. And so we had mobs coming down here, which was fine, because I have this pit area, and the pit area was just eating them up, no problem. Once again, and if they try to go through, these launchers slow them down and stop them from doing that. So hopping through here, and then we'll look at from the south side. South side doesn't matter too much anymore. We have our new amplifier up here that we built right before Storm Shield Defense number 9. So this one doesn't matter too much. This is where I had the launchers that failed to work, these 2. So fortunately I don't have to worry about them anymore. But this was kind of the same thing where I had a rock, there's a natural rock here. I did a leg way down here for them to get around, which was hardly ever used. And most everything came in through here. And there was a wall here before a smasher got to it. Had it like that, and then the launchers, as they're doing that easy walk to the amplifier, were just supposed to get launched back and taken out in these rooms. But the launchers weren't working for some unknown reason. But that is B. We'll hop on over. And also B, I had this side trap tunnel earlier. Once again, this was the spawn point I was talking about before. And the way it worked, when I did Amplifier A, they spawned down here and attacked Amplifier A. When I built Amplifier B, same spawn point, but instead of attacking A, they came over here and attacked B. And then, of course, once I put down C, that spawn point went away. And C, let's see. Yep, we will start with the south. This one's up on a cliff edge. So, of course, if you got a cliff, you got launchers. So they come up, launch them down, gas, wall darts. Once again, all the mobs would come walking through here, get taken out. And on this side was just a small amount of the, maybe 5 or 10% would come over here. Most of them would come from that direction. But the smasher, for some reason, refused. He would always try to smash down this wall. So instead of arguing with them, fine, if you want to go through, go through. And so I built this trap tunnel here specifically for any smasher that comes up this side, and hopefully this will just eat him up as he's going through. We'll wait. I want to make sure I got enough traps on me to add on anything I need to during the mission. Here, these launchers weren't, since this is a 2-tile wide, the launchers, some of them would shoot some of the mobs off the cliff edge, but not all of them. So what I did was on the second tile put a floor launcher with a 45. So this launcher kicks them out, that launcher clicks them, shoots them up, and then shoots them off the cliff. Back down. Like here, it shoots them on a bunch of traps. But over here, it sends them down, I think, 3 tiles, and they have to go all the way back up and around again. And on these trap tunnels, you can't build them this big when you first start. This is all I had when this amplifier was first available, and then I just kept adding on as the storm shield went out. But here we have the ramp coming out. We got a floor launcher, a 45, a launcher, trap, trap, trap with launcher. Once again, using the half wall to force them to go all the way close to it. Same thing over here. And actually these launchers, they do damage on this, but also there was lobbers coming up here and then heading off over that direction. I don't want them over that direction. So this is to keep the lobbers from wandering. And then down here I just put some more traps, so everything that got knocked down or was coming up the first time was getting beat on. And it did a pretty darn good job. And as you can tell, I built a lot of this out of wood, which in lower levels you can definitely get away with. In higher levels, not so much. And then over here to the west side, whoop, that's still it. There we go. This is one of the most pragmatic ones, yeah, on C, and this is the one that I had a fail last time, and I had the fail because I didn't listen to my own rules, or yeah, my own advice. Once again, you got a rock right here, natural one, so I split it into a wishbone. Get a bunch of mobs coming up here, and just basically this one's a launcher, so they come here, they get hit by that launcher, they get knocked back here, hit by that launcher, and they're knocked out. And then anything coming in is getting hit by a launcher. Here I definitely want 2 more or 3 more gas traps. And then here, if they make it this far, the launcher kicks them back into here where they're getting the dynamo damage and the wall darts and the floor spikes. And I did have a gas trap there before. We shall see if we get attacked from this direction. If we do, I'll add some more. Over here, the wall hunters got all used up. So many coming through. And one thing I'm noticing is that it looks like from the latest patch, the wall launchers are resetting after the storm shield defense, which is huge. On the first time I went through all the way through Fortnite, I would come back after running a storm shield defense. I go up to the launcher and it'd have 1 charge left. So I would have to bash down the wall, rebuild the wall, and put a new launcher on it. But it looks like they're resetting, which is great. This big, huge apron here sticking out, that's just to stop the lobbers from attacking, and it works really good. Unfortunately, it worked so good that they went all the way around, and I knew they were going around on the early storm shield defenses, and I was like, nah, instead of building a tunnel, I'll just have a wall with a launcher and everything will be fine. That's not the way to do it. If they're beating on a wall, build a trap tunnel. Let them in. And I didn't do that, and I had my first death. The amplifier held up good. I didn't. So they came all the way in from this back side. So, and you'll see that in the video where I'm showing the big map, and the blasters and the lobbers are doing this huge circular pattern all the way through another amplifier's trap tunnels just to try to get an angle at attacking the current amplifier. And I'm sure you'll see that on 10 when we do it. But that is C. So let's get on over to D. Let's see. Actually, make it a little faster. Come on. And I said it a few hundred times, but I love the... Whoa! Love the hoverboard. Kind of overshot it, but that's okay. For Constructor was always the slowest whenever people needed help. I hated it because it would just take forever for him to get over there, and now it's just a blast. But this is D. This is the newest one. I ran it on 9. I had a few minor issues, but I actually got 3 kind of totally different builds on it. And actually we'll start with the simplest one. This is a possible spawn point down here with just this path to come up. But I got launchers, floor launchers, launchers, launchers. And then if they even get in here, they got a launcher. We need a floor one there. And I didn't have this entirely beefed up. And for some reason, we had on 9, it spawned out here to the south. And everything went through my launcher maze tunnel, which I'll describe more here in a second, except for the propane and smasher guys. The smashers decided to go through here. It did pretty good against most of them, but they got back here and actually smashed through one wall. So now that was a wood wall before, I believe. Now I got it brick, leveled up 3 times, so hopefully it's strong enough to stop smashers if they try it again. And I put in all the traps I could, just to make sure if we get another smasher wave, won't be as bad as it was the first time. But over here, where they did end up coming in, I basically have a big V, because I was wondering if they'd come in up top here. And it's a V coming through here to the amplifier, and it's not very long. I don't have enough to do enough of a trap tunnel, I think, and I wanted to do something different. And I do something like this sometimes on Repair the Shelter. But basically, if they got to all the way here, the launcher would kick them out. If it kicks them out one tile, it hits that launcher, sends them to that launcher, sends them to that launcher, sends them to that launcher, sends them this one, and then back out over here. And then they have to go through again trying to get by the launchers and getting gas attacked the whole time and getting the wooden floor spikes. If the launcher sends them out 3 tiles, they come back here, launcher, launcher, back out. So yeah, they just keep coming in and they keep getting gassed and they keep getting pushed back out. Sometimes it does require me to go back in and replace those launchers. That's why I had to make sure I went running, and what I got 18 launchers just for replacements on a build like this, because I don't have hardly any room to do anything more extensive. And then we get to our third one, probably most interesting of the 3. Up here, this is a spawn point up here to the east. And basically I'm just feeding them all in here. I got that out 3 tiles wide. I got this one out 4 tiles, but hopefully they won't be going all the way around. If they do, I got launchers there to slow them down. And then I might have to start shooting and engaging, but we'll see. But they come in here. Once again, gas traps, but you got launchers kicking them out onto traps, launchers kicking them out onto traps, wall darts in the back, floor traps, dynamos, dynamos, gas traps, wall darts coming down, dynamos, launcher. I want to save my gas traps, and then tire traps. If they fall down, if they make it this far, they're down here, and the amplifier is right there. So I have to eat them up top as much as possible before they get down in here. But here you got the launcher, floor launcher, sending them back to a wall launcher that sends them back into all the dynamos. And the tire traps. Tire traps don't do that much damage, but they do kind of mess with the mob and they do impact on them. So it slows them down and kind of harasses them. And let's see. That is all of them. And that's the big map. Somebody wanted the big map just to see how I laid out my amplifiers in case they wanted to do it the same way. You can also see on here that I did different material builds a lot of times. The really dark gray, almost black, is all metal. And then the dark and light brown is, let's see. No, the gray is stone. Oh, geez. They do all the different. And then I got the wood areas also. So I'm trying to use all kinds of materials I can just to have enough materials to do all this. But that is my Storm Shield defense for Stonewood. getting ready to run it now for Storm Shield Defense number 10, and then we'll be done with this. All right. Ask me any questions. Let me know what you think, and hopefully this works out on the first try. Take care.